Breaking tonight at 5 on WHAS11 News, a small plane making an emergency landing in Bullitt County. We have new information on the pilot and how this happened.
Plus, April's historic flooding is still causing issues for Nelson County. The massive blockage in the Rolling Fork River that could cause more issues if it isn't fixed.
Also ahead, there's another name now in the race to replace Mitch McConnell, the latest Democrat hoping to take his spot as U.S. Senator in Kentucky. Right now on WHAS 11 News at 5. We are following breaking news first here tonight. In Bullitt County, a small plane is upside down in a field right near a church after the pilot makes an emergency landing. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for being with us on this Monday night. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. We've heard from emergency crews that the plane lost power. Now, this forced the pilot to bring it down in Mount Washington after taking off from Bowman Field. Emergency personnel were dispatched around 2:20 this afternoon. Police, fire, and EMS from both Mount Washington and Bullitt County are on the scene.
Well, the pilot reportedly has minor injuries and actually climbed out of the plane before being taken to the hospital. This is a live view, by the way, from the scene. We are bringing this view to you right now here tonight at 5 o'clock. We have also heard emergency crews at the scene made the necessary calls for a plane crash. The FAA has also been notified and should be heading to the crash site there in Bullitt County. We're also posting any new updates on this story for you on our website, WHAS11.com, but at least thankfully to report the pilot did escape serious injuries after this crash today.
Some good news there. Well, 2 teen girls are recovering in the hospital after being shot in the Chickasaw neighborhood over the weekend.
Louisville Metro Police say the girls were 16 years old. LMPD says police responded to a shot spotter alert coming in on Greenwood Avenue on Sunday at about 9:30 Sunday night. LMPD says when officers went to West Broadway, where police found 2 girls believed to be 16 years old with gunshot wounds. One Chickasaw resident in the area talked to a witness some of the aftermath in her neighborhood.
We was coming out to go to the store, and as we was coming out, we just seen like police cars, and it was like, you can't go this way, but we can go around to go in the store. They said it was a crime scene.
The 2 were taken to Louisville's University Hospital with injuries that are not considered to be life-threatening.
Well, today, Mayor Greenberg credited Metro government's work with the Office of Violent Crime Prevention as one of the reasons for the 25% downturn, he says, in violent crime. Now, that work primarily revolves around implementing Metro government's Safer Louisville plan, which aims to reduce crime in Louisville year after year through intervention, prevention, and enforcement strategies. One strategy of that plan is the Pivot to Peace outreach program, which Mayor Greenberg says has led to a noticeable decrease in violence in areas where the program is active.
Gun violence here in Louisville has been reduced by between 25 and 30% across the entire city. However, in areas where we've deployed the Pivot to Peace program, we've seen an over 60% reduction in gun violence in these targeted areas.
And according to Metro government's website, Pivot to Peace is a hospital-based program which provides victims of stabbings and gunshot injuries with the assistance of caseworkers and other community resources. The hope is to identify and address the factors in their lives that have put them at risk in the first place for violence.
A Louisville pizza restaurant is losing its liquor license. According to the Metro Alcoholic Beverage Control, Fire Oven Pizza allegedly served alcohol to underage guests. Now, it's located near the U of L campus on West Cardinal Boulevard, again, right near the main campus. Metro ABC also saying several of those people tried to leave when detectives started checking IDs. 9 people were cited. One of them was said to be obviously under the influence. As a result, Metro ABC issued an emergency suspension order of Fire Oven Pizza's liquor license. Now, this means the business cannot serve alcohol until a full investigation is completed.
All right, well, a rainy Monday to start off the week.
But usually we're a little blah about rainy Mondays, but what perfect timing after the this incredible weekend where hundreds of thousands of people were outside and not one single raindrop on their heads, Mallory.
No, it was a nice sunny weekend for St. James, for the U of L game as well. And now as we kick off the new work week, here comes the rain. So as you mentioned, good timing there. This will take us off and on really over the next 24 hours. So don't put that umbrella away just yet. You'll be needing it, especially for your your Tuesday. Starting off with that live look outside from our First Savings Bank camera. This is from over in Jeffersonville, looking at downtown Louisville, part of our Shriners Children's Camera Network here. Temperatures are in the lower 70s today, so much cooler compared to last week. Light winds coming in from the east-southeast, just around 6 miles per hour, and light showers that are beginning to fill back into the Louisville metro area, a little bit more widespread up in southern Indiana from Paoli over to Salem, Palmyra, Corydon, up to Henryville as well. Big picture view showing more widespread showers that are moving toward Grayson County at this time, coming in from western Kentucky. So expect scattered showers to really continue, as I mentioned, off and on for a while here. Keep that umbrella with you throughout this evening. Temperatures not really moving too much over the next 24 hours or so. We're talking lower 70s right now, dropping into the mid to upper 60s tonight, and then we're just talking highs tomorrow back in the lower 70s. So scattered showers widespread tonight, and then tomorrow some heavy rainfall is possible. Widespread showers, some embedded thunderstorms, and temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Many of us looking to pick up anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, but locally heavier amounts are certainly possible. We'll walk through that hour-by-hour forecast and take a look ahead to the 7-day outlook. That's coming up in just a bit, guys.
Thanks, Mallory. The man found guilty of murder in the Crystal Rogers case is appealing his conviction now. Brooks Hauk was one of 3 men convicted in the murder of the young Bardstown mother. Hauk was Rogers' boyfriend at the time of her death back in 2015. He was sentenced to life in prison in September. Now he's asking the Kentucky Appeals Court to overturn his case. The other 2 men convicted in Rogers' murder have also filed notices seeking an appeal. Well, a blockage in the Rolling Fork River in Nelson County poses risks to towns both upstream and downstream. You know, we've had some serious rains recently, but we are talking this mess about the historic floods from back in April creating this problem. As our Ian Hardwitt and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are going to show us, a second year of flooding could be even worse if this problem isn't fixed.
We don't even know the entire depth of what we're dealing with, so it could be quite significant, the amount of debris that we'll have to remove.
Nelson County Emergency Management Director Brad Metcalf says this clog in the Rolling Fork River poses a big risk to the area around Nelsonville Road. Hundreds of trees, even some rusty propane tanks, block the river's regular flow.
What if it breaks? What does that mean to the downstream towns that are below it? Is that almost like a dam breaking and then you have this big wall of water that takes out the town of Boston? Those are the things that we're concerned about.
Even outside of a break, the backup is an issue for more than just the nearby cornfields. Further upstream is New Haven, which saw its fair share of flooding back in April, but you can still see the impacts over here by the bank. All these trees up here were deposited by the floodwaters when the water was about 20 foot higher than it is right now. Metcalf says FEMA has approved about $3 million in Nelson County for public assistance fixing roads and bridges. He estimates another $500,000 price tag for a contractor brave enough for the clog job.
One contractor had talked about actually placing a barge in the middle of the river so that they could have a platform to work off of, and then taking and grabbing the debris and then placing it upon the banks.
FEMA is actively processing these applications, the agency told us in a statement. We're continuing to work the Commonwealth to support community recovery efforts. Metcalf meets with FEMA next week, taking surveyors to the river bend in his bid for funding.
If I had my way, I would like to try to get a contractor in here immediately to try to at least get some kind of channel open back up.
After 2025's floods delayed his plans to clean up the river, now Metcalf feels the clock ticking down again towards possible future flooding. In Nelson County, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS11 on your side.
Well, if FEMA doesn't come through with the funds, Metcalf says he's going to need to request that money from the Kentucky General Assembly when it meets about the Kentucky budget next year. FEMA has currently given out over $32 million in household assistance to Kentucky for April's flooding alone.
A judge has denied former LMPD Detective Brett Hankinson's request to remain out of prison while he awaits the appeals process. He'll now begin serving his federal sentence in connection with the shooting of Breonna Taylor this week. Hankinson was found guilty of violating Taylor's civil rights during a police raid in March of 2020. A judge sentenced him to 33 months back in July, but his attorneys have been appealing that sentence ever since. Hankinson's attorneys asked the judge for another 2 to 3 month delay to his prison start date last Friday, with the denial coming in earlier today. Hankinson is now set to report to prison this Thursday, October 9th.
Amy McGrath is back. You remember that name. The former Democratic candidate for Kentucky's U.S. Senate announced today that she's once again running for Senator Mitch McConnell's seat in 2026. Of course, as a Democrat, McGrath ran against Mitch McConnell back in 2020. It was one of the most expensive elections in Kentucky history. According to her campaign, Amy McGrath says Kentuckians deserve someone battle-tested and ready to fight for them on day one. McGrath now joins a growing list of Democratic candidates running for Mitch McConnell's seat. The list includes State Representative Pamela Stevenson, attorney and former Secret Service agent Logan Forsythe, and former CIA officer and military veteran Joe Willett, who lives in Louisville. Well, the high-profile Republicans in this race are former Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr, and Lexington businessman Nate Morris. Of course, the primary is in May.
Right now, Willow Avenue between Eastern Parkway and Cherokee Road is closed. MSD says this is for much-needed sewer line repairs. Sidewalks will stay open unless crews find areas in need of repair under them. MSD also says the repairs will take a month or more to complete, but services will not be disrupted. We will update you on the free WHAS11 app when this closure ends.
Thanks to federal funding cuts, Louisvillians are concerned about the fate of Metro government food programs, which many residents rely on for their very next meal.
One of the programs most at risk is the city's senior nutrition program, which delivers 5 meals once a week to roughly 900 homebound seniors in the Metro. Now, federal funding for that program expired last week, but Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg says those who depend on the program will not go hungry. Today, Mayor Greenberg announced that the city has allocated funds from the Office of Social Services to keep the senior nutrition program going through the end of the year. During the announcement, the mayor said that whenever the federal government fails to help those in need, the city of Louisville will be there to lend a hand.
We aren't going to wait to see if someone else in Washington takes care of our own here in Louisville. When the federal government turns its backs on families, our city is going to step up to meet the moment.
Well, Greenberg has clarified the cuts to the senior nutrition program are not connected to the ongoing government shutdown. Louisville leaders say they are still looking for a long-term solution to federal budget cuts.
The U.S. House canceling planned votes for the rest of the week, meaning there's no end to the government shutdown in sight. That's the new update at the moment. Coming up, how the U.S. Senate is forcing a vote.
And here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions $547 million, Powerball $207 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.